Hello, welcome back. We are headed to Hong Kong. I mean, take a shot every time I say we're going to Hong Kong. During Vlogmas, it was take a shot every time I said my foot had been injured. But now apparently it's just every time I go to Hong Kong. If this is your first time seeing me, I am an English teacher in Shenzhen. My husband and I both live in Shenzhen, but he works between Hong Kong and Shenzhen, so he's going back and forth between the two cities. And I am an ESL teacher, but I'm on break right now, so that means I have the flexibility to go over to Hong Kong and spend more time with him that way. You know, I almost didn't go, but I was thinking about all the reasons I love my job, and one of the main reasons is I love the flexibility. So I figure while I'm on break, before school starts up again, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I am an ESL teacher at a university. I'm also getting my PhD in education, and I talk about all things teaching ESL and living abroad and figuring out life in your 30s, because do I have my life figured out? No. I'm gonna be honest, I have been struggling at the start of this new year. I love New Year's so much. I have an entire system, I have an entire plan. Back in December, I started planning for the new year and getting ready for the new year. New Year's Day, New Year's Eve is my favorite holiday. I absolutely love it. I always get so excited about like the plans and dreams and hopes that you can have for the future. I get really intentional, really strategic on my goals. And let me just tell you, I think for the first time, my New Year's has been an absolute mess. My semester was supposed to completely finish on December 31st, and I thought, amazing, that would be like a clean break. I can start off the new year on my holiday. Yeah, I was still doing paperwork and random assignments and random work until January 14th or something like that when I finally finished. My in-laws came and stayed with us for a week. I got sick. There had just been so many weird things that happened at the beginning of the year, and it really stopped me from like having that fresh year, new start, let's go. And it's just left me feeling very scatterbrained. I will sit down and open my computer and realize I don't know what I should work on. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I just found myself like very easily distracted because I didn't know what I was doing, and everything felt overwhelming. Everything feels overwhelming because I don't have a plan for what I'm doing or how to accomplish anything. I mean, right now my big task is get my PhD and write my dissertation, and that feels like way too much. And I know how to accomplish goals. I know you need to break them down step by step. But I just have felt such like analysis paralysis throughout this entire month of January. And that's not how I want to start off the year, but you know what? That's what happened. And so I have decided my new year is just going to be the Lunar New Year. It's coming up. It's in a few days. We're just going to make that the new year. And that will be the fresh start. It's going to be very Chinese of us. We are going to just wait for Spring Festival, and that will be the new year. And I also was trying to think about this a little bit more strategically because I know myself pretty well, and I know I enjoy a challenge. For example, one of the only things that I really have accomplished this year in January was I saw online someone talk about a decluttering challenge where for every date, you're supposed to get rid of a certain number of items that corresponds with that date. So if it's January 5th, you're supposed to get rid of 5 items. If it's the 25th, you get rid of 25 items. I've been tearing this house apart, decluttering and getting rid of so much stuff because I know I enjoy a challenge like that. I have decided the Lunar New Year is going to be my New Year fresh start. So we have a couple of days until then. During those couple of days, this is going to be the New Year's prep. We are going to get a plan for where we want to go, what direction we want to head in. We are going to work on directional living, not destination living. I just want to be more intentional with how I spend my time, which is my entire goal for 2025. My goal is to be really deliberate, really intentional about where I'm putting my efforts and where I'm spending my time. And so far, 2025 has been like the exact opposite of that. I also got this book. Let me grab it. Called Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. He's a big YouTuber. And I have read many many productivity books in my time. This was just exactly what I needed to hear right now, because it's all about being productive, but being in a productive way so that you feel fulfilled and so you feel accomplished rather than just like stressed or dreading your to-do list. And that is how I have felt. I have felt so scattered, and when I write another thing on my list, even if it's a good thing, something I'm excited about, I'm like, oh, well, I have to do that and I have to do that and I don't know where to start with that and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's exactly what it says right here. How to do more of what matters to you. So I'm going to take this to Hong Kong, and I want for the next few days to just figure out what I'm doing a little bit more and mostly find motivation. I am a very like go, go, go type A, Enneagram 3 type of person, and I've just not felt that way. And so I don't feel like myself and I don't feel motivated. I feel really disconnected from my PhD right now. Obviously, I feel disconnected from my work because I'm not working, but I just want to take the next few days as a challenge of like prepping for the new year, for the Lunar New Year. You know, all you can do is all you can do. And if you're in the same boat, if your year has not started off the same way that you thought it would, if you didn't do your New Year planning and then you got online and saw all the thousands and thousands and thousands of videos and TikToks and Reels that are all talking about new year, new me, and you feel like, oh, well, I should have started sooner. It's okay. For the first time, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm starting at the end of January. But you know what? Better to start at the end of January than to start anytime after that. So let's head to Hong Kong. I think I want to go to Kennedy Town. I just feel like I want to see the water. I want a quiet place. I feel like that will feel very calming and grounding and help me get that motivation. I really hope by the end of these few days that I will really feel like I have motivation to do what I want to do, that I will feel empowered. I don't want to go back to school next semester looking back over my winter holiday thinking, what did I even do? What even happened? The days just passed. I want to have enjoyed my days, to have filled them with things that give me energy and that make me happy. Let's go. Let's see what we can do. This place was empty last week. The Spring Festival travel has already started. So what you just saw, there are probably like 200 people lined up there at that little corner. It's all the people who want to take pictures of the view from that one specific stop sign angle. It blew up on red, you know, that one. Like a few months ago last year, and now everyone down here is like a mainland tourist who wants to take a picture at that location. Okay, not gonna lie, it's a little bit weird in here because it's just this little room with 4 little tables. Like, the place where they prepare and where you order is a totally separate room. The views are great, but I mean, I'm the only one here just like locked in this little sunroom. But that's okay. I got this gorgeous hot chocolate, or mocha. That was their specialty. And I'm gonna break this open now. Ding ding just went past. Do have thoughts. I mentioned earlier that I want to do a type of like challenge, And as I was on the way here, I was thinking about what kind of challenges I would want to do. And I think, you know, we have like 10 days until Spring Festival. And I think I just want to have a challenge during those 10 days. Not like a 75 hard thing, but like a 10, insert other adjective here. I think for the next 10 days until Spring Festival, I want to stay off of short form content. I think all the scrolling is contributing to how like chaotic and scattered my brain feels. What a shocker, right? But I think also the last few days with like, is TikTok getting banned? Is it not? With the presidential inauguration coming, there's just a lot of opinions online. I just feel like everyone's like talking at me as soon as I open my phone. Long form is okay, but I think short form is contributing to this. And I realized that while I was reading a Throne of Glass book, my sister and I are reading through Throne of Glass together, and the chapters are like really short and it's constantly switching POVs. And I realized it was stressing me out because it made me feel a little bit more scattered, and I realized that is what short form content is making me feel like right now. I don't want to completely get off of it because honestly, when I opened up my Instagram, I saw that one of the Hong Kong artists that I really enjoy is doing a special pop-up throughout the next week, and I was like, okay, I would have been sad to miss out on that. But I think I want to stay off of just short form content scrolling. And I think throughout the next couple of days, I'll keep thinking of things that I might want to add to my list and add to my challenge. But I also realized the other thing I want to do is I want to theme my days. That always helps when I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or confused. So when I was at the cafe just now, I made a plan for each day over the next week and the next week. So on Monday, I'm going to do this type of task. On Tuesday, I'm going to focus solely on my PhD. And that, I think, is going to help me get out of this. I don't have to keep this schedule for forever, but for the next week or two, knowing what I plan to do each day, I think is really going to help. And it'll help me focus as well. So like while I'm working on my PhD on Tuesday, I'm not going to worry about all the tasks that I have to do for traveling when my friends come because I'm going to deal with that on Friday. I think that's going to help a little bit. I mean, this street is pretty at Christmas time, but nothing matches Spring Festival. Good morning, happy Tuesday. We had a great dinner last night, a really fast, really quick dinner. Just came back to the room, relaxed a little bit. I started working on my Chinese driver's license because I do want to get my Chinese driver's license this year. I'm able to use my American license and just transfer it over, but I still have to take one written test that shows that I understand the Chinese rules of the road. So I have downloaded an app for that, and there are like 1,000 questions that I have to essentially learn or memorize because I'm taking the test in English, and let me tell you, the translations are not good. So I was just doing a little bit of studying for that last night. Oh, I wanted to show you the art that I got. One second, let me show you that. During Vlogmas, I had found this bookstore that sold different art from all local Hong Kong artists. And there was one artist that I absolutely loved. I only got one of his postcards, but he posted on Instagram that he was doing the pop-up. And so I went, and he was amazing. I got to talk to him for a little bit. So this is one of the ones I knew I absolutely wanted to get. This is is the Blue House, which is not too far away. It's just down the street. It's a historic monumental building in Hong Kong. So right down the street, my husband and I will often meet in this area and have dinner together after he gets off of work. You have the classic taxi, you have the classic ding ding. We've often eaten dinner in this building here. I got the clock tower that I love so much. We went here a lot during Vlogmas. Just another classic cityscape with the traditional pawn sign. And I had to get one at night as well, the junk boat. And then this is the HSBC, my favorite building. So sweet. He was so kind. He gave me one for free as well of some lion dancers. So yeah, he's Welsh, but he's been living in Hong Kong for like 30 years. So we had some really great conversations and we talked a lot. He's really amazing. I'll leave his Instagram down below if you also want to follow him, maybe buy some things from him. I really, really love his style. So let's talk about getting my life together, because yesterday it was kind of my plan to just like get inspired and get motivated. And something else that helped me yesterday was I saw that Chloe, she had posted a reel about her vision board. Something really stood out to me about her vision board because I felt like it was so different from other people's. Other people will like set SMART goals. They have a really specific monetary or number goal that they want to hit. You know, they want to lose this many pounds, they want to make this much money, they want to hit this many followers. Or it'll be like vague words about how they want to feel. They want to feel peaceful, they want to feel grounded. But her vision board was totally different. She really has a long-term focus for what her purpose is. And I realized that was really the difference between her vision board and other people's vision boards that I've seen. Like, she said things that she wants to be a unique voice in a community, or she wants to be a collaborator connecting two different worlds, instead of something like start a podcast or have a podcast with 10,000 downloads in a month. It was like contribute meaningful and unique voices to the conversation. And I also really like she attached a person that was exemplifying the goal that she wanted to reach. So for example, her goal of being a collaborator between two different worlds was Rosé and Bruno Mars. That's the perfect example of bringing two different worlds together and creating something pretty powerful. I mean, that song's been in everybody's head for a couple of months now. And I just really liked that that is how she planned her goals and how she made her vision. And I think today I want to spend a little bit more time thinking of my next year, 2025, a little bit more in that perspective. And I want to challenge myself as well to kind of go past 2025. That scares me a little bit because, okay, real talk here. I chose a career and a lifestyle that is very, shall we say, short-term planning. Every single year I have to renew my contract. Every single year I have to renew my visa. And so even though for the last few years, I mean, for several years now, I've said I will stay in China long term. So it was never a question of like, oh, should I go back this year? But when I first came to China, that was the case. For the first like 3 or 4 years, every year I was faced with the decision of, oh, do I go back to my home? Do I go back to the States? Or will I stay in China for one more year? And for a long time, that was always the case. It was always the question of one more year, one more year, one more year. And so I was living my life for a very long time with just one more year in mind. So after I decided I did want to stay in China long term, I think a lot of that mentality is still there of like, okay, what am I going to accomplish in this 1 year? And I haven't really in my life done a lot of what do I want to do in 3 years? What do I want to do in 5 years? What do I want to do in 10 years? I just haven't done a lot of that. And I think I want to challenge myself a little bit to start thinking in that direction. And why do I say that scares me? Well, because I haven't really done it a lot, but also because I don't know what the world is going to look like. There are a lot of things outside of my control. If a government here or in another country changes its policy, that could really affect my life here. Maybe I decide I do want to go back to the States, but with a new administration, maybe that won't be possible. There's so much out of my control, but let's face it, life is always like that. So I think if I focus on what do I want to do and what do I want my purpose to be and what do I want to accomplish in the way that Chloe does, those things are not necessarily limited by other people's boundaries. Her purpose is clearly defined in her goals and in her vision. And I think I want to challenge myself to do that a little bit. So let's head outside. I have no idea what we're going to do today. Truly none. Let's get coffee. Let's get a pastry. I don't know. We have dinner plans. And the rest of the day is just going to be random wandering. Let's find out what we get up to. We're back at the hotel. It was getting dark and cold, and I realized I would rather just come back to this cozy hotel, which I love so much, rather than going out and spending more money on another caffeinated drink this late in the afternoon. I started reading the Simon Squibb book. I haven't mentioned it yet, but probably like a week ago, he popped up on my Instagram Explore. He basically just walks around and asks people, what is your dream? I first saw his videos like a week ago, and I haven't really been able to get that out of my mind. And it's been really, really interesting reading his book. Whoa, the lights are all flickering. What's going on? Okay, that was a little bit scary. Anyway, it's been really interesting to hear his ideas about goal setting versus dreams. He was talking about the fact that we often focus on setting goals, setting resolutions, and at the end of the year, if we achieve them or not, we tick them off. Like, yes, I achieved it. No, I didn't achieve it. And he was comparing and contrasting that to the idea of a dream, something that can grow with you over the years, something that will withstand failure. If you fail or have a setback one year, you can continue and you can adapt and you can adjust for the next year. And that combined with Chloe's idea of like long-term success, that's really what I've been thinking about all day today. Because when I looked back over my goals lists for 2025, I realized how many of them were really small goals. And these are the things that have been making me feel scattered and stressing me out. I mean, bigger things have as well. But for example, I wrote down that I want to go to 2 concerts this year. Is that a giant like long-term dreams goal? If I don't go to 2 concerts this year, is that going to like change the trajectory of my life? In 10 years, will I be thinking about the fact that I went to 2 concerts? Absolutely not. I've wanted to plan a Valentine's Day party for my friends in February. And I've also been stressed about that too. Like, oh, what should we eat? And what activities should we have? And that's not the important thing. Instead, I was thinking about Chloe and like how she wants to have a deeper purpose. So what's the reason for my Valentine's Day party is not just to have fun. It's because I want to have a memory, a unique memory with my friends. And that is going to happen regardless of which type of food we eat. That is possessed. So all this time in January, I've been stressed and feeling scattered and trying to build up motivation for things that don't necessarily need me to build up that much motivation for. Instead, I should be focusing on long-term purposes, long-term plans. Even when Simon stops people on the street and he asks them, "What is your dream?" he won't let them say certain things. For example, he won't let them say like, "Oh, I want to make a lot of money." He's like, "No, you don't. You don't want money. Nobody wants money. They want what money can bring them. Maybe money can give you the freedom to quit your job and move to a new place. Money can give you the security or independence to take care of your family or retire your parents." And so as I keep reading his book, I want to look back on what I'm doing and what I'm planning and what I'm trying to build up motivation for. And instead of focusing on these small little tasks, focusing on the bigger picture, the bigger purpose, a little bit like what Chloe has done. So we have like 2 hours until dinner. I think I'm just gonna keep reading, journal. I did do a lot of work at the coffee shop as well. Another thing he said too is that he kind of dared people to just take action, because most of the time people don't do something because they're scared. He said the second question he always asks is like, what's stopping you from going after your dream? What's holding you back? And so he encouraged people to just make a list of hard things and throughout the next year kind of work through those things, which actually yesterday I already wrote down a list of like, these are things that I just need to do. I just need to take action. And I went back to that list and I started working on some of those things today. I also worked a little bit on my PhD. I also worked a little bit on next semester's paperwork because the school is still sending messages about it. Let's see if this is any good. Actually, I quite like that one. This is called Oolong Prestige. This one's not bad. The chamomile one that I tried yesterday was terrible. Do not recommend. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading and then we can head out for dinner once my husband gets off of work. Good morning. I am going to check out of the hotel. There's a matcha place nearby that I've been wanting to try for a while, so I might go down there, get a fun little drink to energize me before heading home. And I kind of wanted to just fill you in on what I'm thinking as the end of this trip ends. I do feel like last week I didn't know what I was doing. I felt very much like I don't know where my life is going. I don't know where it should be going. I don't know what I should be doing. And last week was very much about like getting clarity and getting a little bit of understanding, not fully, but a little bit. And this week I was really coming here hoping to have so much motivation and inspiration and feel pumped and get ready to, just go and hit the ground running and energy levels full throttle. That's not what happened, but I think this is a better result because I don't feel that like rush of energy, but instead I feel more clarity about how to accomplish my goals and how to build up motivation because, at the end of the day, motivation is just a feeling. It's similar to like a sugar rush or a caffeine surge. It will push you for a little bit and then it always dies out. And so throughout the last couple of days, I really feel like I'm walking away and going home with the idea of which goals are really important to me, understanding my clear categories of goals. I wouldn't even say hierarchy, but just different categories. Now, when I open up my goals list, I can very clearly see the different subcategories and the different sections. I have some big overarching goals that are like talking about the rest of my life, my big vision, the things that I really want to accomplish with my purpose, kind of like Chloe's goals that I mentioned earlier. Then there's a whole nother category of like things that I wrote down because I want to do them, but I just don't want to forget about them. For example, like hosting the Valentine's Day party. I really wanted to do that, and I was like, if I don't put this on my goals list, it's going to be one of those things that's easy to forget about as life goes on and life gets busy. And then I have another category of just fun goals, and I need to think of them as fun goals. Like I mentioned yesterday, if I don't go to 2 concerts, is that the end of the world? No, but there are things that I want to bring into my life and add to my life, so I should just be on the lookout for them. I've been feeling stressed because I wanted to get concert dates put on the calendar. I don't need to have everything planned in January. These are just things that I can keep on the lookout for. I'll look for an opportunity to travel to another province. I'll look for an opportunity to travel to a US state. Instead of white knuckling these goals and making sure I have everything planned out perfectly, we're just gonna calm down a little bit, because there's something to be said for like planning and working hard and making your goals happen. But at the same time, you can't control everything in your life, and you need to learn to let go. Let life happen to you. Let there be room for spontaneity, and let there be room for surprises. And I also feel like instead of walking away from this trip feeling pumped and feeling motivated, instead I realized I need to take action in order to build that own motivation. First, I'll take the action, and then I know motivation will come. You know, an object in motion stays in motion. The problem that I've had in not feeling motivated and feeling scattered is because I don't know what I want to be doing, and I just haven't started it. It's kind of like, you know, you have to wash your dishes and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then you start and you're like, oh, this actually isn't that bad. I haven't been starting because I've been overwhelmed and nervous and dreading things, and I don't want to approach these dreams and these goals that I have in that way. I do know I just need to get started. So when I go to the coffee shop today, I am going to make a plan for my next action steps, and I also think I'm really going to stick to theming my days, at least for the next few weeks, because that's going to help me so much. When I wake up in the morning, I know what my general focus for the day is. When I open up my computer, I know that I am focused on my PhD for this day. I'm really hoping that will help, because I've been in such a funk this month. The lessons I learned last week and this week I think are really going to help me move forward. So enough yapping. Let's go get a matcha and then head back to Shenzhen. I was thinking of maybe I'll keep filming when I'm in Shenzhen, but I realized the things that I'm going to be working on today are mostly just on my computer. So I might say goodbye here, and I'll just show the rest of the montage heading back to Shenzhen. But thank you so much for coming along with me this week. I really was not sure what was going to happen, but I do feel like it was a productive week. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm gonna keep reading these books, the Feel Good Productivity and also the Simon Squibb book. But thank you for being here. You can always check out the website for more tips and ideas, and you can check back here for weekly videos all about teaching, life abroad, and figuring life out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.